Welcome to Lawyers Who Care, the video show podcast that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. And on each episode, we're going to meet a new lawyer and they're going to share stories about when they went above and beyond the legal counsel for the benefit of their client. My name is Andrew Samalin. I'm the principal of Samalin Wealth, a nationally recognized wealth management firm for attorneys, law firms, and their clients. And I'd like to bring a special guest today. My special guest is Kiara Santos. She's from Santos Legal Group. She's an attorney from Hoboken, New Jersey. Welcome, Kiara.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good, my pleasure. So tell us about your law firm.
Yeah, so we, like you said, we are in Hoboken, New Jersey. We also have an office in New York. We practice business formation, contracts, trademarks, and estate planning, really with the emphasis on generational wealth, as you understand very well. And so that's how we help our clients. I think for our communities, it's very important to bring this information and knowledge to them. So that is just our primary focus. And so that's what we try to do.
Great. And how did you come to your something? Did you wake up one morning saying, I have to be a trust and estates attorney, or something a little less organic?
Right. I think I went your typical route. When I first decided to become an attorney at 16, I was in a law class in high school. And for some reason, I just loved it. Thought I would be a criminal defense attorney. And then it wasn't until law school when I took a wills and trust class that I realized that I didn't know anything about wills and trust. My family didn't. And then I started asking, like, wait, what, we're missing like a huge gap in something. This is how we can kind of help our situation. So I felt like it was my duty. And so that's the biggest way that I feel like I help our clients with the estate planning. But with the business formation and the contracts, it all kind of ties in together because you need to think about your business succession planning as well. And just really the goal is to help, again, my community and my peers really learn what generational wealth is and how to get it.
So, by the way, you touched on an important point where, you speak about maybe you're one of the earlier pioneers in your particular community. And that has a particular impact, not only for you and your family, but for so many others in your community. Can you speak to that and how important having that trusted advisor is?
Absolutely. When I would ask my family, when I first started learning about it, I was like, so what do you guys do when somebody passes away? And everybody was like, whoever is the next, whoever lived with the person or the next of kin, they kind of just handle it and nobody really knows where. Of course, there's disputes in any family, but they just didn't really give me a clear answer as to, okay, what do you guys do? So I just realized that for myself, talking to my family, just spreading the word. A lot of times it's hard for people to understand because they associate that, wealth building or estate planning with death. And I tell them, as soon as you're 18, you need to start, as soon as you get anything, a business, or as soon as you have a child, anything, you need to start considering your estate plan. And I think me coming from knowing how much there's a lack of knowledge, I can just I think I can explain it a little bit differently. And I can tell my community, hey, like I've been there. I'm learning with you, and I'm trying to just bring us up and make us aware of all these tools that we can use. Because, if we don't have estate planning in place or generational wealth building, we're just always going to come out and start from fresh. We need to start now, because this is how families become rich and stay rich for years, is because they keep passing it along. If you don't have that, we're never going to get to that. We're never going to be able to, send our kids to college and have tuition fund, children, things that we kind of talk about and think it's unattainable or unachievable. And it's like, no, actually it is. But somebody has to start and implement the foundation for that.
Mm-hmm. And that foundation is so important to create both individual wealth and communal wealth. And that the nature of that communal wealth is so critically important. And in the absence of that, it makes it tougher for everyone individually, whereas it's so much easier perhaps when it is all done together. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tell me a great story.
Yes. So recently I did, and it was estate planning. They tend to be around estate planning and probate matters, just because that can be a lot on families. So this was about 2 weeks ago. I had a colleague of mine. I had never worked with him before, but we were in an estate planning network. He reached out to me. He had a client who was in New Jersey, which he's not licensed in. And he said, hey, I have an emergency situation. My client's child is going to have an emergency surgery. They don't know when it's going to be. And the child needs their estate planning documents in place. They want the last will and just basic, living will documents. And so I was like, okay, well, I understood the need. This was Friday afternoon. So I went on Sunday, 2 days later, to make sure that she had that all taken care of. Because again, we weren't sure when the surgery would happen. Turns out that the surgery did happen the next day. So fortunately, I was quick enough to make sure she had everything in place. And everything went well, by the way, so it was successful. But I think for me, the fact that my colleague had reached out to me and he, just trusted me to handle this. I mean, this is his client for other matters. And he's like, I really just, need this. And it's a short notice. The child had children, which I have a child. And so I just really felt compassion for the situation. And if I was in those shoes and, was facing a huge surgery that may not turn out well, and I didn't have anything in place, I would want to have somebody that would care enough to just kind of make it a priority to get that for me, to get that done for me.
And how did they say thank you, other than the wow, thank you for changing the trajectory of our lives? Like, what was the feedback?
They were very grateful, wanting to pay me more and offering, because I live in New York City, so I drove over to Jersey, wanting to take me out to lunch, just offering referrals. So very grateful. But for me, just knowing, especially that the surgery was done the next day, I just felt it felt right in my heart to do it that quickly. I was like, you know what, let me just, I don't want it to be on me. And then 2 days later, something happened. So I was grateful enough knowing that it actually happened the next day and everything.
And that huge unknown was now removed from, their whole existence. And I bet you everyone slept a little bit better at night. Thanks to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Kiara, thank you so much for joining us today. Our guest today has been Kiara Santos. She's an attorney from Santos Law in Hoboken, New Jersey. And can you leave us with a phone number, Kiara?
Yeah. 201-228-0796. That is our line, 201-228-0796.
And what about the web address?
It's www.santoslegalgroup.com.
Terrific. Kiara, thank you so much for joining us today. So thank you everyone for joining Lawyers Who Care, the video show podcast that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. My name again, Andrew Samalin from Samalin Wealth, and thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day, everybody.